Okay, Reginald, why don't we start with a little bit of grounding? Deep breath in. Now, tell me, what did the clown do this time?
He was standing on his hands, but there were no legs, Gio. Just arms, and a torso, and so many guts.
And how did that make you feel?
Like my soul was trying to climb out through my nose. It winked at me with a sick grin on its face, Gio. A twisted grin.
It sounds like he's just expressing himself.
Expressing? His intestines were hanging out like party streamers. What was he celebrating, Gio? Hemorrhage Day?
Fascinating. Classic case of circus-induced cranial meltdown. We're going to process this through a little bit of creative exposure therapy.
Are you saying we're building him?
Exactly. Foam, PVC, expanding guts, and artistic expression of horror and budgetary compromise.
This is not therapy. This is a foam-based emotional sabotage.
Today we're crafting a gut-spilling clown torso prop that'll terrify your neighbors, traumatize your puppets, and cost less than therapy. So why don't we get in that freak show headspace? Because we're about to go wild.
I'm billing you for emotional damage and clown-induced trauma.
Alright, what's up everybody? So in today's video, because so many of you guys requested this, I'm going to be showing you how to make a clown prop. Now, I want to go over the design a little bit so you guys kind of follow along visually with what I'm thinking to create this character. Now, in this clown prop, I was originally going to do a Jack-in-the-Box, and I may still do that in the future. If you guys really want to see a Jack-in-the-Box, let me know down in the comment section below. But in today's video, I wanted to create this kind of like walking torso character. So no legs on this character. I just want to make the head and the torso, and I want him kind of standing on his hands and maybe one hand reaching out toward the audience. And to accomplish this, we're going to be using quite a few different materials. Now, I also wanted the guts to kind of spill out of the bottom of the character and kind of piled on the floor just to give it more of a gruesome look. So now I want to go over the material list so you know what you're going to need to get this creepy, scary clown completed. Now, first and foremost, we're going to be needing 1/2-inch PVC pipe and 1/2-inch PVC pipe couplers to get the overall structure done for this guy. We're going to be using a piece of plywood that's cut roughly to about 24 to 36 inches wide by about 16 inches deep, just so you can set him down in your lawn or on your porch or wherever you're going to have him. And he's structurally supported, so he's not going to teeter and totter, and you can also weigh that character down. We're going to be needing a little bit of chicken wire as well, just to create the overall shape of his torso. And you can be using a styrofoam head in today's video, but I don't have a styrofoam head on me right now. That's about a 20-mile trip from where I'm at. So I'm going to be showing you also how to create just a makeshift styrofoam head using a big water bottle and some expanding foam. So you're definitely going to need that as well. Now we're going to be needing pool noodles also to create the arms of the character. And we're going to be using our cement clay to get our sculpt done today. Now the last thing we'll need on the list is our monster mud and fabric just to create that overall look. So he's hard coated so we can paint him with all the funky colors we want to create. And we can put him outside, and he's going to be nice and weather resistant for you guys, so it'll last a long time. One more thing on the list as well is we're going to be using a specific type of yarn, and I'll link my Amazon affiliate link down below so you can pick up this specific yarn, but it's like a hair material. It's really cool, and it's very inexpensive, and it goes a long way when it comes to prop making, so I'll link that down in the description below. Now for the hand itself that's reaching out, we'll be using the same technique that I used in my pinhead video where I showed you guys how to make foam hands using a latex glove and some 16-gauge wire. So if you guys haven't seen that video, I'll link that down in the description as well so you can create those hands for yourself. But this is going to be a really awesome video. I hope you guys are excited about it. I'm definitely excited to bring you a full-size clown. I've never done that here on the channel, so this is going to be new. This is going to be fun. So why don't we go ahead and get in that spooky mood, because we're about to go wild. All right, to start off our build today, we're going to be doing our little spray foam head here, and I scuffed up the side with a little bit of 60 grit sandpaper just to make sure that foam stuck to this. And it worked out pretty well. And to cut our piece of wood here, I'm going to be using a very special technique that I've been working on for quite a while. Now, if you guys don't really know that technique, you can always use a circular saw to cut your piece of wood. But here I'm going to be cutting up 3 lengths of 1/2-inch PVC pipe at 36 inches, and that's going to represent my arms for the character because I want them overly long, and also the spine of the character. And then I'm cutting these 2 pieces at 9 inches, and that's going to represent our shoulders. Now, when you're going to create your armature here, you want to make sure that you have all your pieces pre-cut before you start the gluing process, just so everything comes together really nicely. And make sure you do a dry fit, because once you put this glue on, it's going to be almost impossible to take apart if you make a mistake. So make sure you have all your pieces set so you know exactly where you're going to put everything, and that glue is strong and you don't have to take anything apart after. Now here too, this is going to be something, if you're new to it, you're going to have to get used to it a little bit. Once you do it once or twice though, you'll know exactly what you're doing and you'll know what to expect. But your initial go, you probably have some issues here and there, but nothing that you can't get over pretty easily. Now here I'm going to be screwing down my spine of the character, as well as one hand, so I can have the other arm reaching out toward the audience. Now here I'm just screwing these pieces down before I actually use my expanding foam to attach it even further. But this worked out really well for me, and it's given me a lot of structural support, so I know this guy's not going to teeter over time. And then when it comes down to creating your characters, this is one of the most essential parts of your build, is to get the positioning right for your character. A lot of times when I'm talking to people and they're asking about how I create these guys, one of the key things you want to work with is creating a believable pose for your character so he looks legit, he doesn't look funky or too stiff. So it's something that I would really recommend you guys taking your time with and getting down right. Now here for the chicken wire, I'm attaching this to the PVC pipe, just using a little bit of scrap 16 gauge wire, and then I also attach the chicken wire to the spine of the character as well, just to hold it in place while I do my work. Now here for the actual guts, I wanted to go ahead and use a little bit of rope, so I had some freestanding material that would hang a little bit. That way it will give me more of a 3D kind of depth to the character and it'll look a little bit more realistic. And then here, like I always do for my PVC pipe, to create more of a form around the arms, I'm just using some pool noodle here, and then to create a little barrier in between that chicken wire and my monster mud, I'll be using a little bit of our upholstery foam here, just with some spray adhesive. Now to get to our spray foam, I'm going to be covering that PVC pipe of the spine here, and then also working it around the base to create like a spilled gut look, and then also to wrap around that rope there, and it really adheres well. This is a really good thing to do, so I definitely recommend creating that rope for your structures as well. All right, everybody, before we go on to the next step, I wanted to stop and show you guys the armature and what I did here to prep this guy for our monster mud and our sculpture. Now, first and foremost, with the head itself, that water bottle actually worked out a lot better than I thought it would. The styrofoam head, I was thinking, man, this is going to be a better situation, but this actually worked out really well. So it just goes to show you guys, if you don't have something on hand, don't be afraid to kind of try different things out, because that's the whole premise of this channel, is to show you how to make something from almost nothing. So this thing worked out really well because it was oversized and larger than a styrofoam head. He's more exaggerated, which I want him to be. I want him to be more exaggerative, so he looks bigger, larger than life, and just a creepy big presence. And that's kind of the idea of these clowns. They always look like a wonky and oversized. So this is going to be perfect. I did glue in some of our creepy eyes. And again, if you guys want to see how I make these, I have a short already up there, our channel here, if you guys want to check them out. Or I'll leave a link down to my cauldron video so you can check out how to make these specifically. But also with the hands too, I used the same technique I used in my pinhead video to create the hands. But what I ended up doing is, once those hands were cured, I stuck a little bit of wire in the fingertips to extend the fingers, and then I sprayed more foam so they're oversized. As is this one here, and you guys will see in another clip where I overlay some of the details of this as well. I did put upholstery over this here, and then you saw me put just some rope down, and I strung it to the chicken wire underneath here, and then I sprayed foam over that. So I have guts hanging, not only from the PVC pipe in the back here, but also in the front, just to give a little bit more depth and realism to this guy. And then I just piled my spray foam over the top to make it look like intestines. So I did go back in and carve up the face and the hands to make them look a little bit better. everything is going to be covered with monster mud. So the back of the head, because it's really bumpy and all that, I'm going to cover this with monster mud, maybe a little bit of material, kind of like what we did with our pumpkin guy video, just to smooth everything out. And then I'll be wrapping the fingers and the hands with material as well. So they'll be more of a gloved hand rather than actual fingertips. I might go as far as to create like torn edges at the tips of the fingers so you can see like gnarly fingernails and stuff, just to give them a little bit more detail. And then I'll be sculpting over the top of this with our cement clay as well. So this is going to be really cool once he's done. He's really big, he's really oversized, but I like that. If you guys are doing a circus theme or some kind of carnival deal, this is going to be a perfect prop for you. But now, why don't we go ahead and get to that next step. Now, to get to our sculpt today, I'm going to be spritzing down my character with water almost in the entire time, just because it's so dry and hot where I'm at. I want to make sure that this cement clay has plenty of moisture so I have more working time with it. And immediately I'm putting down some clay and then starting my actual detailed work, because like I said in a lot of my videos, you guys have been following me for a while, you got to kind of work at it really quick, because in dry temperatures and really hot heat, you're going to have issues with it creating like this hard skin that's going to be really hard to carve if you let it sit for too long. So make sure you're staying in a shaded area, out of the wind, no fans on, no outside air, because it'll dry your cement clay a lot quicker than you're probably going to need it to be. You're going to need more working time. So make sure you're in a nice cool area and you have plenty of water with you so you can dip your fingers in there. And then also have the spritz bottle to help kind of rehydrate that clay to keep it workable and moldable. Now for this character, I wasn't too worried about like keeping any kind of symmetry. He's going to be looking all kinds of weird and wonky, but I wanted that. I did glue a little bit of 16 gauge wire into the mouth just so I had something to attach my teeth to. I just wanted them slightly pointy. They didn't have to be perfect or anything like that. This whole character is weird. You know, I wanted everything to feel really out of place, so I just try to keep it as wild as I possibly could. These tools I get on Amazon, so if you guys are interested in these exact tool sets that I'm using here, I use for most of my sculpts, I'll leave my Amazon affiliate link down in the description below. If you guys like today's clown build and you want to see more circus or freak show stuff, also let me know down in the comment section below. Now for the fingers here, I didn't want to sculpt every single finger. I kind of wanted to do like, maybe he had gloves that were torn and just a couple of his fingertips were showing. So I don't sculpt every single fingertip, just a few of them. And then I'm adding these big, gross nails just to give him a little bit more character, make him feel like he's nuts, and to go along with the design. Now, I don't really talk about it here on the channel too much, but as far as the character design, I really do sit down and take time working out how I want these guys to look and brainstorming and doing a lot of research to kind of create the best looking characters for you guys. If you're curious about how I do this or what my process is, let me know down in the comments, because I can definitely make a dedicated video where I show you how I design my characters. Now to get started with my monster mud process, like I always do, I'm just taking handfuls of that monster mud and wiping it over my armature here. That way my material sticks a lot easier for me. Now, if you guys have worked with monster mud in the past, you know what I'm talking about. If you're new to it, this is a really essential step just to help you, because this stuff is so heavy. You want it to grip to your armature as best as possible. So make sure you put down a nice slurry of that monster mud before you add your material. And I'm not too worried about the creases in this guy. He's gonna look all messed up and wild. So all that texturing in the shirt is gonna look great at the end. Now, one thing I do want to mention, like I've mentioned before on this channel, is when you're working with monster mud, you want to have all your material pre-cut before you start. It's going to save you a lot of headache and hassle down the road. So just make sure you have as much material as possible pre-cut and ready to go. Now for the painting process, like I always do, I'm just going to be putting down a coat of latex black paint. And then once this is dry, I'll be going in with some painter's tape and taping up like a cool stripe design to make him look more like a clown. And then we'll be hitting this with a little bit of orange. Now, as far as the colors, what I was thinking of is to make this guy a Halloween character. So when it comes down to the colors, I wanted this orange and black because what screams Halloween more than orange and black? And then I'll be using some green, like a neon green, for the accents for the hair, and also the little furry balls I guess he has on his chest as well. But this guy turned out so cool. I love the paint job on him. So I hope you guys like it too. And then for the face and the hands, I'm just going to be hitting this with a little bit of an off-white color, so he looks like a traditional clown, and then we'll be going back in with the detail. Now here, all I used was a little bit of upholstery foam, and I glued it on itself, and then I sprayed it with some fluorescent green paint, so this stuff will actually glow under black light. And I did the same for the hair here. Now this is the yarn I was talking about in the beginning of the video, and all I did was take certain lengths of it, cut it up, and then bunched it up together, and kind of with my fingers just matted everything together, and now I'm just hot gluing it into place. Now to bring out all that detail we did in our sculpture here, I'm just using my airbrush with a little mauve color just to deep set the eyes a little bit and all the wrinkles that we did. And then I'm going to go back in here and do a little more detailed paint on the guts, just to create more of a gruesome effect. I wanted this guy to be, again, oversized and wonky looking, but also just intimidating. Even though he's a half body, he's still so big, and he's going to look great in the display this year. Now I'm using a little bit of a pink color here with my airbrush, and then whatever I had left in my cup here, I'm just pouring it down because I'm adding layers and texture to make this look even better and more realistic. And now I'm just going in with a highlighted pink color just to give that gross, like fatty intestines look. And this really sells this look of intestines and kind of a gross effect and response that I want from my audience. And then we're going to be adding, of course, this traditional red nose and lips. But this guy is pretty much done. I hope you enjoyed today's build. If you did, let me know down in the comment section below. But until next time, happy haunting. So, Reggie, tell me, how do you feel now that you faced your fear?
Violently unwell. I've been emotionally disemboweled, much like him.
Oh, come on. He's festive.
He's a torso with jazz hands and trauma sauce.
Come on. You painted those guts yourself.
I was forcefully made to participate.
And that's our handstanding, horrifying gut goblin. Perfect for your next Halloween scare. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below.
Ari's gonna build one with a working digestive system.
Already started.
Oh no, it can poop now?
If you'd like to fund public counseling or foam rehabilitation, you can support us via Super Thanks, Ko-Fi, or Buy Me a Coffee. Every dollar helps, or hurts, depending on Reginald's insurance plan.
My plan is fear and hot glue.
But until next time, keep building things, stay creative, don't forget to go wild. I'm Gio from Carvalho Creations, and I'll see you next time.
Don't leave me alone with him. Please, someone help! All right, foam freak, you don't scare me anymore. I've got garlic, duct tape, and a strong-worded Yelp review. Okay. He's just settling. Foam expands. It's science.
Oh, good. You found the sound module I installed.
I found my afterlife.
Great. Now get up. We're filming the mime next.
Just get the heat gun and melt me back down to a trash bag.